Hello, my name is Leslie Elkins, and I am a partner and owner at Kramer Elkins & Watt, also known as Q. I represent businesses and employers, and today I want to talk about a common issue, which is an employee and independent contractor misclassification. So this stems from a problem that comes from various tests, and in Wisconsin there are 3 statutory tests, and those tests are unemployment insurance, workers' compensation insurance, and the Wisconsin Fair Employment Act. There are also different definitions of employee in the statutes as well, and on top of that there are case law differentials. And then to make things a little bit more complicated, there are federal tests as well. So as I'm talking about employees versus independent contractors, I tend to refer to everybody generically as workers, so keep that in mind. This is going to be a little brief overview of some frequently asked questions, but keep in mind that you can also head on over to Q-Tips, which is our blog. Q-Tips link can be found right here, and you can find a lengthier conversation about independent contractors versus employees.
Can an employer decide whether a worker is either an independent contractor or an employee?
Generally, no. A worker providing services for a business is either an employee or an independent contractor. The statutes and the law apply to the definition of the worker. If an employer wanted to make a change, the changes would likely have to be significant, and with significant changes, the employer might be able to make the worker be either an employee or an independent contractor. For example, the employer might have to change the way in which the worker is paid by switching the worker from being paid hourly to being paid per job.
I have a written contract that says my worker is an independent contractor, and he agreed to it. We are good, right?
Well, no. The answer is no. You cannot contract around the employer-employee relationship. Those protections are in place, and they are guided by the statutes and case law, and you just cannot contract around it, no matter how good of a legal drafter that you have to draft your contract. As my partner Jessica Kramer likes to say, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's going to be a duck, even if your contract says it's a goose.
What is the difference between an independent contractor and a subcontractor?
Nothing. There's really no difference. It's just 2 different names for the same thing. A subcontractor is an independent contractor. Depending on the industry, the term subcontractor is often used, or in different industries, independent contractor is used. Sometimes people even call individual workers 1099s, and they all mean the same thing. They mean an independent contractor. One notion that's often used is the 1099 employee. This doesn't make really any sense because the 2 terms contradict each other, but when people say 1099 employee, they generally mean independent contractor.
Does an employee need to work a certain amount of hours each week to be considered an employee?
No, it doesn't matter. A worker can work 1 hour a year, 4 hours a year, 200 hours a year. What matters is the employee versus independent contractor tests. There isn't a minimum number of hours somebody has to work in order to be an employee. So if you're thinking of having somebody do some work for you for about 20 hours or something, you can't just assume that they're going to be an independent contractor because the amount of work they're doing isn't much. They would still be considered an employee if they would be an employee under the tests. Thank you for watching my FAQs on independent contractors and employees. If you have additional questions and want to feed your curiosity, please head on over to our blog, Q-Tips. I have an article on there which details the differences between employees and independent contractors. So head on over with more questions, or of course you can always reach out to us here at Q, and our email address is info@qlaw.com. Thank you. I'm attorney Leslie Elkins, and I hope to present more employee-related blogs to you in the future.